Hi, this is Shana Meyerson with YOGAthletica, here today to teach you a standing balance sequence. That's just a great thing to throw into your home practice. My recommendation, if you are level 1, let's do 1 breath per pose, a full cycle. That means inhale, exhale. Level 2 is you're going to do 3 breaths per cycle. And level 3 is that's 5 breaths per cycle. If you consider yourself like a level 1, 2 or a level 2, 3, I'm going to leave the math up to you. Okay, so first I'm going to go over the poses and a few of the alignments, and then we'll just go through the whole sequence. So first pose, all I want you to do is hug your leg, by which I don't mean just hold your leg. I want you to hug it. So if you've got a nice open hip, I want that knee right there on your chest, like close enough that if you really wanted to, you could kiss it too. Okay, so big hug here. While I'm explaining, I'm not going to be holding for a particular amount of breath. I'm just going to talk. Okay, second pose, you're going to take your 2 fingers for your yogic toe lock. If you don't know yogic toe lock, it's basically your peace fingers. Close them up, make a little finger karate chop right there between your big toe and your second toe. And we're going to just extend our leg out in front of us. This is called Utthita Pada. Padangusthasana basically means extending my leg out in front of me while holding it with my hand. Okay, now, let's assume your hamstrings aren't that open. You could totally do this with a bent knee. So, I'm just going to go to the side so you can see it a little bit better. I have my fingers, I grab my toe. As my leg starts to extend, here's the problem that most people encounter, is their hamstrings are too tight. It's about as far as maybe you could get. So they decide to compensate by throwing their shoulder forward and bending their bottom leg, and then it winds up looking something like this. Okay, can you see how that might not be the pose? So instead, in order to really isolate the hamstring on this one, what I want you to do is knee hugs in, I grab my toe, lift for right now, take your right hand, I'm standing on my right leg, and put it on your left shoulder. Okay, and sort of dig it in there so you can feel some muscles. And as your leg extends, I want you to feel no pressure in your hand. So you'll see I'm going to do this with a fully open hamstring first. So my leg extends out. Whoa, my balance is bad. My shoulder is embedded. Okay, my bottom leg is straight. Bottom leg straight is more important than top leg straight. Okay? Don't worry about the top leg. Now, let's say that you don't have that much opening. What most people do, again, is they grab, and then let's say they keep this leg straight, but they compensate with their shoulder. 99% of the people that I work with do the same thing. You don't, right? So what you're going to do is you're going to keep that shoulder embedded. So shoulder is pulling back. I take my leg, and I extend it out, okay? Utthita Hasta Padangusthasana. Okay, so we've got that one. Now, from here, I'm in my extended leg pose, and I'm going to bend my knee to the inside of my elbow. So my elbow is to the outside of my knee. Now watch my hand. I'm going to release the grip on my toe, and I'm going to pull my leg back, and as I do, I'm going to flip my palm. You can't really see my hand, can you? So I'm grabbing my foot for Lord of the Dance. Now I'm going to turn sideways. You can't really see Lord of the Dance, but my leg is behind me. So, 2 fingers, watch my hand, I'm extended, I bring my knee to the inside, my palm sort of opens, so that as my foot comes back, my hand is ready to receive. Got it? My other hand comes up, and my foot pulls back, okay, to create the back bend. Now, I don't have the world's biggest back bend, but I am really trying to open my spine on this one. The things that I see, the mistakes that people make on this, is that either A, their knee is just forward, like they're not even in a back bend and they lean forward like this, or B, they do lean forward but they pull their foot in so they're not really getting any sort of back bend either. So the rule here is this, Superman, up, up, and away, okay? So my foot, instead of pulling in or just pulling away, it's going to go up and away. So here's my foot. My leg goes in the up and away position. Keeping in mind that this is a bow position, right? Essentially, Dhanurasana is the same thing. You're just lying on your tummy and grabbing both feet. So I want you to think of this as an archer's bow. So that the further I pull back, of my arrow, it's like, okay? So use that leg to create that huge back bend here. Now here's the thing. This next transition could be a tricky one, and you may want to put a block in front of you, in fact. But when we come into Lord of the Dance, Natsvarajasana, which is the pose we were just in, our hips are more or less square, forward. Now we're going to transition into Chapasana, which is sugarcane pose, where the hips are now going to be completely open. So there's going to be an opening of the hips in this next transition, and this gets a little tricky. I'm going to move back a little bit. So one hand is up. I'm in my full Lord of the Dance pose. Now, as my hand comes down, it's going to land in front of my right foot, and I'm going to open my hips. So you see how my leg is now parallel to the floor, not perpendicular. This is a big, important point. Almost everybody just knocks this one over. So they're in their Lord of the Dance, their hips are square, and they just go straight down, and their toe is pointing up. So they did not make the transition to Chapasana. It may feel like you have, because you're standing on one leg, you're holding one foot, and your other hand's sort of in front of your foot, but not the pose. Okay, now, here's the other cheat that people do. When you come into Chapasana, you want your hand in front of your foot, okay, about one torso's distance, about 6 to 12 inches from your toes, not to the right. Everybody put their hands way out to the right, and then it's just a kickstand. Like I could just, la-di-da, I could stand here all day, it's no big deal. We're gonna actually challenge the balance on this one. I want your hand to be in alignment with your toe no further right than your pinky toe when you come into your Chapasana pose. Okay? So we're going to really challenge the balance here. So how do we challenge the balance and not fall? Well, we got to move slowly through these transitions. You got to be patient. Okay, so when you come down, here's the other cheat. Watch my foot. A lot of people, for balance, they turn their foot sideways. They put their hand, what seems to be in front of their foot, and say their hand is in front of the foot, but honestly, hand in front of the foot, again, is in the line of the pinky toe. So if your hand is sideways, but your foot, it's straight in front of you, but your foot is sideways, that doesn't count. Okay, one more thing about Chapasana is that when I come into the pose, what I see a lot is people who have their knee in front like this. You should not be able to see your knee. Your knee has to be behind you. And again, this is a bow position. So you're pulling the foot away from your body rather than into your body. Okay, so from Chapasana, really simple. All we're going to do is we're going to let go of the foot and we're going to take it into half moon. Ardha Chandrasana. You probably know this one. I hope you know this one. If you don't know this one, this whole sequence might be a little bit scary. Okay, so from my Chapasana, see how my hips are open and my leg is parallel. You can't see my foot because it's straight behind me. I'm just going to release the leg straight out. Okay? Now in half moon, final pose, you're looking up to the sky. That's if you're advanced. Middle, look sideways. If you're a beginner, look down. Looking down will always be your easiest gaze, okay? And you know what? If you're advanced, feel free to look down too if you're feeling sort of tired. Sometimes I gotta do that. Okay, now here's the second tricky transition of this standing sequence. From my half moon pose, so I'm in my half moon, I'm gonna take this leg and I'm gonna swing it out so it's parallel to the floor and perpendicular to my body. Remember that yogic toe lock? I do my little finger karate chop, kia. I'm gonna bend my leg just the tiniest amount, taking my arm out to the side and pivoting my hips so that I'm up and balancing. If you can, you're gonna look to the opposite hand. If you can't, just look forward, it will make it easier. After we hold that, we're gonna take the leg forward, arms to the sky, and we're just gonna hold there. That's going to be the end of the sequence. I do recommend after taking like a malasana or something to release the hip. So let's see if we could do that whole thing together. I'm just going to hold for like one breath, just so that you could just get a feel for the sequence and not have to stand here forever and watch me doing this. But this is a really nice, fun sequence. The reason I had to put this on video is because I was doing this with the class the other day, and I was demoing it, and I think I fell like 17 times just trying to demo, which was mortifying, but I had to prove to someone I know how to do this. So here we go, the proof is in the pudding. Get your hair all straight. There we go. Okay, so first things first, I'm gonna hug my leg. Maybe even kiss it. 2 fingers, grab my big toe. Leg extends, but shoulder doesn't. I'm going to pull the foot backwards into the palm of my hand. Other arm comes up. Foot comes up and away. Hips are square. Here's that funky transition, the first one. As my hand comes down, moving so slowly, right in front of my foot, my hip opens so that my leg is more or less parallel to the floor. Foot releases, full half moon. Leg swings around. This is that second tricky transition. Find your toe. So slowly, watch your gaze. Come up, maybe look sideways, and as you're ready, back to center, arms up, leg up, and down. That's your challenge for the day. Let me know how it goes. This is Shana Meyerson with YOGAthletica in Los Angeles, California, wishing you an awesome week.